Here is a surprising fact about your body. By around 9 o'clock at night, your cortisol level is supposed to be extremely low, almost silent. This drop is not a coincidence. It is the signal that tells your body the day is over, and it is time to shift out of activity mode and into repair mode. Your metabolism slows down. Your brain prepares for deep sleep, and the systems responsible for recovery begin to take over. But in modern life, this natural shift rarely happens the way it should. For many people, cortisol remains several times higher than it should be late at night. What makes this even more surprising is that the cause usually is not major stress from work or life. The real triggers are often small habits that feel completely normal. The light from your television, the glow of your phone, a late dinner, scrolling through news or social media before bed. When cortisol stays elevated at night, the body struggles to enter true restorative sleep. You might notice the signs. You feel exhausted but cannot fall asleep easily. You wake up at 3 in the morning for no clear reason. And even when your diet seems reasonable, losing fat becomes frustratingly difficult. This is important to understand. It is not a problem of discipline. It is a problem of biology. Your hormones are simply running on the wrong rhythm. Most people hear the word cortisol and immediately think of stress, but that description barely captures what this hormone actually does. Cortisol is not just a reaction to pressure. It is one of the body's main timing signals. Think of it as a biological switch that tells every system in your body what mode it should be in. At any given moment, your body is operating in one of two broad states. The first is an active state. In this state, your body is designed to perform. Your mind is alert. Your attention sharpens. Energy is mobilized so your muscles and brain can respond quickly to the demands of the day. The second state is a restorative state. Here, the priorities change. Instead of reacting to the outside world, your body turns inward. Cells repair themselves. Hormones rebalance. Tissues recover from the wear and tear of the day. Cortisol helps control the transition between these two states. In a healthy circadian rhythm, cortisol follows a predictable pattern. Shortly after you wake up in the morning, cortisol rises sharply. This surge is known as the cortisol awakening response. It plays an important role in helping you start the day. Your heart rate increases slightly. Energy becomes available to your cells. Your brain shifts into a focused and alert state. From there, cortisol gradually declines throughout the day. By the evening, the body begins preparing for sleep. As cortisol falls to a low level, other signals begin to take over. Melatonin starts to rise. Core body temperature begins to drop. The brain prepares to enter deep sleep. But when this rhythm becomes disrupted, something strange happens. You may feel physically exhausted, yet mentally wired at the same time. Your body is tired, but the signal that allows it to fully shut down for the night never truly arrives. Once cortisol finally drops low enough in the evening, the body begins a transition that most people never notice. The outside world becomes quiet. But inside the body, activity is just beginning. This period is sometimes called the nighttime recovery window. It is the stretch of the night when the body shifts its focus from reacting to the day to repairing what the day has worn down. During this window, several powerful processes begin working together. Energy stored in deeper fat reserves becomes easier to access. Hormones that support tissue repair are released in large amounts. The brain starts organizing and stabilizing memories from the day. At the same time, the immune system becomes more active. Cells responsible for identifying damaged or abnormal cells begin their work. The body quietly scans and repairs itself while you sleep. This recovery phase is usually strongest between about 10 at night and 2 in the morning. During these hours, the body prioritizes restoration. Muscle tissue repairs microscopic damage. The brain clears metabolic waste that builds up during waking hours, and metabolic systems recalibrate so the next day can begin with a stable energy balance. But this entire process depends on one condition. The nervous system must be allowed to enter a true state of rest. If cortisol remains elevated during these hours, the body struggles to fully transition into recovery mode. Instead of settling into deep restorative sleep, the nervous system stays partially alert. Sleep becomes lighter and more fragmented. Recovery slows down, and over time the body begins to feel as though each day starts with less energy than the one before. If the body is designed to slow down at night, the obvious question becomes this: why does cortisol stay elevated for so many people? In most cases, the cause is not one dramatic problem. It is the combination of several small signals that quietly tell the brain the day is not over yet. And 3 of those signals appear in modern life almost every evening. The first trigger is light from screens. Deep inside the brain is a tiny structure that acts as the master clock of the circadian system. Its job is simple. It determines what time the body believes it is, but it does not check a watch. It reads light. Specifically, it responds strongly to blue wavelengths of light, the same type of light present in natural daylight. When your eyes detect this kind of light in the evening, the brain interprets it as daytime. As a result, melatonin production is suppressed and the body maintains a state of alertness. A study from Harvard found that exposure to typical screen light in the evening can reduce melatonin production by as much as 88%. That is not a small shift. It is a powerful signal telling the brain that sleep should be delayed. The second trigger is eating too late in the evening. After a meal, blood sugar rises and insulin is released to help move that energy into cells. This response is normal and necessary. But when a meal happens close to bedtime, digestion remains active during the hours when the body is trying to slow down. As blood sugar later begins to drop, the body may release cortisol to stabilize energy levels. This response typically occurs about 90 to 120 minutes after eating. In other words, a late dinner can create a stress signal in the body, right when the night should be settling into calm. The third trigger is psychological stress from the content we consume. The human brain evolved to respond quickly to threats, but the brain does not clearly distinguish between physical danger and emotionally charged information. When you read alarming headlines or scroll through stressful content, the amygdala interprets it as a potential threat. The same stress pathways activate. Cortisol rises. The nervous system becomes more vigilant. Even though you may be sitting quietly on a couch, your biology behaves as if something urgent is happening. Individually, each of these signals may seem small, but together, they create a powerful message to the brain. Stay awake, stay alert. And that message can keep the body from fully entering the restorative state it needs during the night. To understand why nighttime cortisol matters so much, it helps to look at what the body is trying to do during the evening hours. Because long before you fall asleep, your biology has already started preparing for the night. Around 6 in the evening, the body begins a gradual shift. The stress system slowly reduces its activity. Signals that kept you alert throughout the day begin to soften. At the same time, core body temperature starts to decline slightly. This small temperature drop is not random. It is one of the signals the body uses to prepare the brain for sleep later in the night. If this process unfolds smoothly, the transition into rest becomes almost effortless. But the next few hours are where things often go off track. Between 7 and 8 in the evening, many people begin activities that send mixed signals to the brain. A heavy dinner high in refined carbohydrates can push blood sugar up quickly. Bright screens fill the room with artificial daylight. Phones pull attention towards stimulating information and endless scrolling. Each of these inputs nudges the nervous system back toward alertness. By around 9 in the evening, a healthy circadian rhythm would normally place the body firmly in a winding down state. This is when the body should feel naturally calmer, energy slows, the mind becomes less reactive, and the biological groundwork for sleep is nearly complete. Then comes one of the most important phases of the night. Around 11, the brain typically enters deeper stages of sleep. During these deeper cycles, some of the body's most important restorative processes take place. Hormones that support tissue repair are released. The brain begins clearing metabolic waste that accumulated during waking hours, and the body quietly rebuilds itself from the inside out. But if cortisol remains elevated, reaching these deeper stages becomes much harder. Sleep may still happen, yet the quality of that sleep can be very different from what the body truly needs. The good news is that the body already knows how to lower cortisol at night. In most cases, it does not require complicated treatments or extreme routines. What the body really needs is the right signals. When those signals are restored, the natural rhythm can begin to correct itself. There are 3 simple evening habits that can help guide this process. The first ritual involves light. Around 6:30 in the evening, it helps to gradually change the lighting environment in your home. Bright white lights keep the brain alert because they resemble daylight. Instead, switching to softer and warmer lighting can make a surprising difference. Warm yellow or amber light sends a much calmer signal to the nervous system. It tells the brain that the day is ending. If screens are unavoidable, another helpful tool is blue light filtering glasses. They reduce the amount of stimulating light reaching the eyes and make it easier for the body to transition towards sleep. The second ritual focuses on temperature. Deep sleep tends to occur when the body cools down slightly. Supporting this natural cooling process can improve the quality of rest. One effective method is taking a warm shower or bath about 60 to 90 minutes before bed. Although it may seem counterintuitive, the warmth encourages the body to release heat afterward, allowing core temperature to drop. Keeping the bedroom slightly cool can also help. A fan, open window, or lighter bedding can create an environment that supports deeper sleep. The third ritual is often called the 3-2-1 rule. 3 hours before bedtime, finish your last full meal. This allows digestion to slow down before the body enters sleep. 2 hours before bedtime, avoid additional snacks and stick to water or herbal tea. And 1 hour before bed, begin a true wind-down period. Screens are turned off. Lights are dimmed. The nervous system finally receives a clear message. The day is over, and the body is allowed to rest. At this point, it might be tempting to focus on individual tips. Dim the lights. Eat earlier. Avoid screens, and those habits can absolutely help. But the deeper principle behind all of them is not a single trick. It is rhythm. The human body is built around repeating biological cycles. Every day, your hormones rise and fall according to patterns shaped by light, food, activity, and rest. When those signals appear at roughly the same time each day, the body begins to trust the pattern. It learns when to prepare for activity, and it learns when it is safe to shut down for the night. This consistency is what allows cortisol to follow its natural curve. Energy rises when the day begins, and it gradually softens as evening approaches. When that rhythm is protected, the transition into sleep becomes smoother. The body no longer needs to fight its way into rest. Instead, sleep arrives almost naturally. And during those quiet hours, the processes we talked about earlier can finally do their work. Deep sleep becomes more accessible. Recovery becomes more efficient. And the body wakes up with the sense that it has actually been restored, not simply paused for a few hours. Sometimes the most powerful change is not doing more. It is allowing the body to return to the rhythm it was designed to follow.